Welcome to Cake with KRC. I am your host, KRC, along with Mr. NEDDY NYCE in the place to be tonight. How are you, NEDDY?
I'm great. How you doing?
I am good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good for now.
For now.
We are here. Minor technical issue. I avoided having to not do the show again tonight. Sorry. So just want to apologize for not being here last week. We had a very special guest that was supposed to be joining us to tell us about his book, but we will be doing that at a future date, in the near future. So look out for that. It is Tuesday, August 29th, and we are live to air. It's 9 o'clock. We're just a little after 9. Someone had me waiting tonight. And it was not KINETIC. And KINETIC, unfortunately, he's having some technical difficulties. Well, actually, no. It's beyond that. It's a device issue. So hopefully he will be able to join us at some point, but not holding our breath, just because that would involve him getting a whole new device and being able to join us. So we are gonna just do our thing, me and Mr. NEDDY NYCE, and
yes.
Invite your peoples. If you want them to come join us, send them over to vexradio.com. And one of the first posts you're gonna see on the page is the link to Cake with KRC and KINETIC and NEDDY NYCE, and you can just click that link, and you can send that link to your people, or just direct them there, and they can find us live here. And of course, you might be listening to the podcast if you're not listening Tuesday night at 9 p.m. But feel free to still leave your comments and anything you want to say about the show just below where you're watching and listening to the show, and also on our YouTube page, which is Cake with KRC. Subscribe so you can get the link, so you'll never forget that the show is on. Again, like a couple people, they tune in late and then they have to rely on the podcast, but they would have much preferred the live show so they could actually get it while we're giving it. But anyway, I'm saying a lot right now. This is new. I do have my earpiece on and everything like that. I don't, so I feel a little weird, like I'm just speaking to the screen, but hopefully everybody's hearing me okay. Also on vexradio.com, I was just like, I go on there to get the link and everything, right, to share, which is also on my Instagram page in the bio, and about to be on my Twitter bio as well. So that's the other quick way to direct people to the show. And there were actually a couple of stories there too. So it's not just music. Like, you can actually listen to us Tuesday nights at 9 live, and then you can listen to the best in hip hop and R&B 24/7. And then you also get a lot of like news and updates and things that are happening in real time on the page. And I just saw a link for Tiara Yvonne, who's an exotic dancer / rapper, an interview she did where she was discussing women enhancing their bodies. So you can check that out there. There's another topic that we might actually touch on tonight, is falling in love with someone only to find out they're still in love with their ex. So that's something else that some people have dealt with. And I don't know if I have. I gotta think about that one while we're chatting. And the other link I just saw is Narcos season 3 is starting soon. I totally forgot about it. Like September, like time has been flying. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I didn't click on it, but feel free to visit vexradio.com and you can click there. But they're interviewing one of the actors, I believe. And yeah, so I'm going to go back and check that out to see when the new season actually starts. Have you watched any?
I watched the first, I would say, I think it was 6 or 7 episodes.
Oh, wow. Okay. How could you not watch all of them? What do you mean?
Well, because I was having some trouble with my Android device, my box.
Oh, okay.
So it didn't work out as well as it should have.
Yo, I'm late to the game. I just recently, well, I had the box for a minute, and then I had to update my television set in order to work with the box, which I'm so sad about because like my old TV is still here, and I love my TV, and I just can't get rid of it. And everybody laughs. They're like, okay, seriously, let it go. It's over. But it's a perfectly fine television set, and I just want to find the right home for it. So, but anyway, the
It
whole
doesn't.
nother.
Wait, it doesn't have HDMI or something.
Yeah. So, but I had a cord, a HDMI converter cord or whatever. So I thought that was gonna work, and that didn't work, and it's just not working. So I have one of these 4K thingies, whatever. And so it works. The sound sucks, but I just gotta get some good speakers or something. But I'll get to that, whatever. But so I'm getting used to. But anyway, back to the real topic. So yeah, I kind of overdosed on Narcos. Like I just went, like I was like back to back. Like I think I watched like 3, 4 episodes. Like I can't do the whole 10, like the whole season in one sitting. I don't know how people do that foolishness. Like I mean, I have other things I need to do, but I probably did 3 in a row, which is I think big for me anyway. And it's so addictive. I don't know how, but I mean, you said it was because of issues. It wasn't just you didn't want to watch.
Yeah, like it was. I have to update my box, but for some reason, like I was trying to get through the next couple episodes, and they weren't playing. So I
Uh,
was like,
okay. Oh, and by the way, anybody wants to know how they can get a box, I got the hookup. So
"You got the hookup? You got it?"
no, it's a decent box, and the service is good, and I don't have issues, and yeah, so no complaints like a lot of people. But yeah, but no, don't like. So I watched Narcos first, and then when that was over, it's like you just kind of crave more of that stuff. So then I watched oh, what's his name? What's the other dude's name? El Chapo.
El Chapo. Yeah.
And
There's another scene with El Chapo by itself.
oh yeah, there's El Chapo. That's like a whole other series. And I think there
Oh,
was only one season of El Chapo, or yeah, one season I think.
oh,
Um,
okay.
and I watched that, and it's no, it doesn't. To me, in my opinion, it doesn't compare to Narcos. The quality and just um, how the story unfolds with Narcos, like it, it, it just seemed very real. And the acting is great. The music is great. The writing, like I can't predict what they're going to say next. It just felt more authentic. And then El Chapo is good though. I watched it and I will continue to watch it. And then so I only watched that. So that's over. I'm waiting for the next season. And then so I got some advice. They were like, yeah, Queen of the South. Yeah, that one's good too. It reminds me of one of those two. So I watch it. I'm like, you cannot compare Queen of the South to Narcos at all, at all. Like it's just totally different. But
Yeah.
I think how many seasons in are and it's actually I think I think it's the second season that we're in right now, and that there's been an improvement. So I'm pretty sure I think the writers there's been a change with writing or something like that, which actually makes the second season better than the first. So, and I'm just curious to see how the major, move happens, and that's what's kept me locked in. And it's actually not bad. And what's her face was on it? Oh my gosh, my brain is just like fried right now. You know why? But MC Light had like, but she's only been in one episode. I'm like waiting for her to pop up again,
Oh,
unless I missed something. I can't remember. Did she die? No, I don't think so. So she's yeah, but it's actually kind of cool, and I think it's improving as you go along. So
what about Game of Thrones? Have you gotten into that?
No.
Oh, okay.
See, Game of Thrones, like someone, is that playing tonight? Someone mentioned
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Anyway, and Power is another one that you know what it is with those ones? It's like they have like 4 or 5 seasons already, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not.
You're not gonna do a marathon?
Nah, unless like this season has to end, and then I gotta have a good stretch of time where I can catch up.
Right.
Because it's annoying too, like when people with social media, everybody feels the need
Starts
to.
talking about it.
Right. And so I see little bits and I'm like, oh, and I try to avoid it so it won't spoil. Like they just go in on that little kid on Power. I'm like, okay, I don't know what he did, what he said, and stuff like. And then I mention it to someone, and they try to explain it to me. I was like, no, I haven't started, so don't. And so I feel like by the time I get to the current season, it's like gonna be just over. So I just like,
yeah.
In a way, it's just like I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but whatever. But oh no, the next one I started watching, but then it's funny when you get used to watching shows back to back. So I have stepped away to let it kind of pile up a bit, so I could do 2, 3 in a row if I want.
Okay.
Snowfall. I'm pretty sure it's called Snowfall, not Snowball. Snowfall. Oh. It's a FX show. It's cool.
But
it's kind of like whatever. But it's like 3 different stories kind of happening at the same time that I think they all connect somehow. Like they've already kind of loosely connected, but I think they're gonna really connect. I don't know. So I've watched season 1. I've watched a few episodes. There's probably like 2 or 3 sitting there, fresh ones waiting for me.
okay.
Or I think another one's released Wednesday. But yeah, that's actually a cool one too. And the young star, he's not even African American, he's a black guy, but he's British. And this is the other thing. I don't know why all these British black actors are playing all these American roles, and they play them really well. Until you hear them speak, you don't even know
that they're not American.
Yeah, there's one he's starring in that movie Detroit that I think is out or just about to drop, about an incident happened in Detroit back today, and there's just so many of them, but they're brilliant at what they do. But this one happens to be another one, and he's like in South Central LA back in when crack started, when it started coming out and everything like that. So it's actually pretty dope though, his story and his character, and he's so believable, and so that's a good one for people to check out too. But anyway, blah blah blah. That all came from VexRadio.com. Anyway, so yeah, I posted a few things, and I know I think one post was about the NFL boycott, but I think we're gonna skip. Well, we are gonna skip that tonight. Main reason KINETIC's not around, and I know he has a lot to say on that, so we're gonna get to that another time. But one of the biggest things that just happened, the Mayweather-McGregor fight, the biggest fight of the millennium. I see some people posting about, which is laughable to me. I don't know. Which happened this past Saturday for anybody that, I don't know, has been in a coma for a few days. But so Saturday was the 26th it happened. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I'm pretty sure it's already been spoilt. But Mayweather won. He came out, the winner. So now his career, he's 50-0. And I guess he came out of retirement for this.
There's a going around that says 51-0 if you count the time he beat his wife.
Ooh, okay. There's actually, there's a post I saw similar that says he's been charged with 4 different assaults against women. And then McGregor being called a racist, and both of them coming out millions of dollars richer, considering how awful they are as people. But Listen, if they haven't been banned from their sports and they haven't been written off and, you know, or in jail or something, it's kind of like, I don't know, to bring that up. It's like, is that really the topic? But I mean, we're free to, people are free to post whatever and feel how they feel and all that good stuff. But I don't know. So did you watch? Were you even interested in it? Were you excited about it?
No, I watched a bit, but because I came off of a couple of weddings and stuff like that, it was just a busy time for me, so I didn't stay watch the whole thing at my friend's place.
Okay.
So I seen how it was going and stuff like that, and I definitely I'm a martial artist myself, so I kind of like the hand-to-hand combat type of stuff, you know, fighting and whatnot. But I didn't get to stay and watch it, the whole thing.
What do you mean you like the hand-to-hand? Explain that to me.
Okay, so I do karate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So boxing, martial arts, judo, all those type of things is one person versus one person, like hand-to-hand combat.
Oh, okay.
Like fighting, I could say. So for sport, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So if people ask me about basketball, not as much. I'm more of a one-on-one type of sports type of person because it's an individual base. Like it's based on your own performance, like how you do, not based on like the team.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because you're asking if I like that kind of stuff or if I watched it or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, Sean Connery. Okay. So tennis, like, is tennis up there?
Yeah, tennis too. Yeah, I like to watch tennis.
Okay. No, because the U.S. Open it has started. It's I actually watched a really good match last night. Men's match, but it's still very early. But anyway, so were you excited about this particular matchup?
I was, but I felt that it was just very hyped up, and I knew that it was. Well, I can't say I knew, but I felt that it was gonna go the way it was gonna go anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. I look at the boxing is definitely one of the worldwide more major sports that's
Mm-hmm.
watched by a lot of people and stuff like that. But I look at the different matches and stuff like that. I'm still more of like back in the days Mike Tyson type of those type of fights,
Mm-hmm.
like Holyfield, Mike Tyson and stuff like that. And I don't know. I guess I'm biased towards that, but.
Okay, but why? Like, can you explain it a little more? Like,
I just feel the excitement when you're watching like not to say that these boxers aren't great, they are good boxers and stuff like that, but I just feel more of an excitement when I'm hearing like Holyfield or George Foreman or you know like Mike Tyson and stuff like that. I look at these guys as like really great guys in boxing and you know like way back with Muhammad Ali and stuff like that and Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean?
so basically, you're saying you don't think Mayweather's a good boxer or a real boxer or an
I'm not,
exciting
not,
boxer,
I'm
like,
not saying no. I'm not saying he's not a real boxer. I feel like it's just they're just putting more media hype around everything now. And I'm not gonna say he's not a good boxer. Yes, he's a good boxer, but I don't think he's on that level like Evander Holyfield or Lennox Lewis or Mike Tyson or you know any of those greats from back in the days.
ooh, okay.
Like I feel that if he was in the ring with any of them, with Holyfield, with Tyson, with Lennox Lewis, with George Foreman, like I feel like he would have been taken out early.
Okay.
He's a great so to say what I'm saying, he's a great boxer of now times of 2017 these days. But as a boxer overall, I don't know.
That's funny because I was speaking to a friend of mine earlier today about this same topic, and He actually says he's the best of all time, considering his flawless record. And I mean, his record, but I think the other thing people bring up a lot is his money, obviously, his success. In
Yeah,
that
but
way.
the money is like a lot better now than how it was back in the days. You know, like all of the sports, because players are getting tons more money than what basketball players were getting years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan is one of the greatest players, but he was never making even close to what LeBron was making.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So money wise, yeah, now times the money is flowing a lot more around with these different sports and stuff like that, and they're getting paid like some serious money when they do these things. Yeah, so
I think I agree with that totally. I mean, things change over the years, but I think you have to give him the credit in the way of him taking control of it and not being used, because that never ends too. People wanting to take advantage of you, use you, and take a big chunk of your money as well. And I think he's smart enough to hold on to that.
Right.
Control that, and I give him his props in that way. But I do think that it's too much. I think it's a bit too much emphasis put on that, and when people start talking about his success to me and lead with the money, it just kind of kills it. But back to the actual fight. I don't know if I was the only fool. I don't know. I felt I finally turned it on, right? I finally get it on, and I see that McGregor's wearing boxing gloves and boots and everything.
What's that again?
No, that he's dressed like a boxer, McGregor. So I say to I say, oh my God, like he's boxing, like he's like actually boxing, like with gloves. I thought it was like a MMA style versus a boxer. I thought that was the big catch. And I was like, okay, am I actually going to share that tonight? Because that's just like afterward, I was like, oh, okay. But for real, that's what I thought it was. Because I was like, okay, this guy's not a boxer. And I don't care how much, because I did see afterward that he actually started out, he was boxing before.
Yeah.
And my friend was using that to say, but I'm like, okay, but has he been boxing? Does he have title? Like, is he considered a legit boxer? And I think for Mayweather to come out of retirement to box him, what surprised me is that this counts towards Mayweather's wins, like this 50-0. And I thought, really? I thought this was like something separate. I thought this was just like straight exhibition, just for fun, make some money kind of thing. Like I didn't know this was being taken serious, like where he actually, that goes toward his wins overall.
Why wouldn't it though?
Because this wasn't a real match. This wasn't a real boxing match, was it?
I'm curious to know why you say it's not a real boxing match.
Because McGregor, like, I don't see him as a real boxer, like a professional boxer that's in that league, that world, that circle. And I don't know for a fact, but I imagine there are a lot of legit boxers who challenged Mayweather and who would have liked that. And so I think the boxer was probably like looking at that as a joke to say, like, and I might be wrong, but I just think
I understand. I understand what you're
This
saying.
was more of an exhibition kind of thing. This was like not to do with the real legit boxing. Like, is McGregor gonna go box somebody tomorrow? Like, is he like what? I don't.
Like you're saying he hasn't boxed and fought up his to his ranking. Like,
Right. Like, is he a legit boxer, like in the boxing world, or is he an MMA fighter? Like, what is
that
he? Like, school
that
me.
that I'm not 100% on.
Okay, well, he's not a boxer. He's not, can he box? Has he boxed? Yes. Um, but you know what I mean? Like, so for someone like me, just from the outside looking in, saying, I was very surprised. I was just surprised to see that uh, that Mayweather would take on take him on as the 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 challenger to bring him out of retirement, and that's why to me it's very clear that it's about the money. It was a money thing, and there's nothing wrong with that, but just like call it what it is, and let's just kind of keep it real.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but so from your opinion and what other people are saying, do you think it lived up to the hype?
I believe I believe it did. Like it went through to 10 rounds, and being the boxer that Mayweather is, right?
Mhm.
I thought it would have been finished off earlier. That's why I went home to sleep afterwards, because I'm like, I know he's gonna finish the fight, but it's taking a long time, right?
Mhm.
So, and especially like how you're saying, McGregor not really boxing and stuff like that. It kind of went longer than it should have, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Right. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't understand how it lived up to the hype if you could actually walk away from it and leave it. I don't think it was all that then.
You don't think it was, say it again?
No, I don't see how you can say it lived up to the hype, and it was because you left it. Like, you left.
No, I
You
left.
left.
But I mean, like the whole excitement around it, because they've been building this up for a long time, and people are talking about it all over, and you know how fast stuff travels on social media, and people are talking about it, setting up different boxing events at their houses and stuff like that, and it was kind of like that sort of hype. I like to see that, and the whole build up to it, just like you know, watching the clips here and there and what's been happening. They're doing the weigh-ins and stuff like that, and it just felt like very hype, like to exciting to watch. Like I felt like I needed to watch it regardless.
Okay,
If that makes sense.
I guess.
You're not feeling it.
No, I personally, like, I was actually someone like I was actually like, someone was texting me too, saying like worst fight ever. He just honestly thought this was fixed. He was like, yeah, I could tell already this is some acting stuff. And he was like, yo, if I had paid for this, I would have smashed my TV. Like, he was just, this is just garbage in his opinion. And I mean, I tuned in to just see how is this MMA fighter gonna fight a boxer. Like, I was just curious to see. So
Yeah,
and then obviously I just stayed with it just because.
yeah,
And I mean, I just think for what it was, and if you call it what it was, I think it was cool and it was entertaining. And they had the red carpet and you could see all the stars and everything like that.
yeah,
But if you call it a legit boxing match, I think it's almost an insult to boxing. And honestly, if this is the biggest fight of the millennium, as some people have said, I just think the boxing is hurting right now. Something's really wrong with boxing, and people need to come save it. I don't know. They need to bring some
well,
freshness. And I'm sure there's some people on the rise. Yeah.
what's the Filipino boxer's name? That last boxing match
Yeah,
was.
Pacquiao, like that to me was more hype and more of a legit boxing match and something that people could say, okay, historically this was like the fight that needed to happen, we needed to see it, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I agree with you on this one. I think it was just more or less not really the money part of it, but I think just for entertainment purposes. I think it did its job as entertainment purposes, right? It got people out, got people to watch. You know, the bars were busy, like different places were streaming in, stuff like that, and people doing it at their houses. So in terms of that part of it, yes, but definitely not the greatest match of all times. Was it somebody young who said that?
No, it's just posts I've seen. I've just seen different posts online. I don't know who's behind them, but I saw different people posting and saying that, and I just thought something's very wrong with that.
The newest things that happened, always people will always say, oh, this is the greatest one of all times. I've heard people say that about different rappers. Oh, you know, I don't want to mention, well, I'm going to mention names. Drake. They say, oh, Drake is the greatest rapper of all time. And going back to basketball, people say, oh, LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all times. And people are always putting these heavy titles on these things, like this boxing match being the greatest boxing match of all times. No, it's the greatest boxing match of right now, 2017, of today times, but not of all times. It's like I hate it when people put those titles on everything. You know, they're drinking juice. Oh, this is the greatest juice of all time. It's just floating around too loosely. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
For anybody to say that, you would have to have lived a lifetime to have seen like all of the basketball players from generations ago, or all of the boxing matches. For you to make that claim, you would have to be like 150 years old, and you've seen like all the boxing matches in person to say, oh, this is the greatest boxing match of all time. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, but you're kind of now you're going a little too far, because I don't think you have to watch every single one. I think
no, you don't have to watch every single one, but you still have to know your history with it.
And I think there are some people who have studied the sport, know the sport well enough to make a comment like that if there was one. However, I think, like you, I kind of get what you're saying, is I'm not the type to really compare things, and I think in that, if at a time that was the hypest match, or the best singer, best baseball player, best movie, like at a certain time, I think we don't need to touch that. We don't need to compare that. Like, and things can be in their time, and I don't think it needs to be erased. So, but I mean, there's this tendency, like, there's this need to do that, where whether it's comparing people who are currently out and always having to have like the best singer or the best rapper or the best show that's on TV right now, this comparison is like, it's constant. And so whether they're comparing two things that exist now, or again, you're going to compare a great of today to a great of yesterday and a great of 100 years ago, it's kind of like you said, things change, situations, different things factor in. And especially with sports, I mean, people, bodies, we change over time, and we're evolving. And in order to be greater than, you know, like we look at Usain Bolt, who is considered the fastest man. I mean, that's a timing thing, so that is a little different. But in order to be the fastest man in like 5 years or 10, you're gonna have to beat his records. You know what I mean? So there's something to compare to, but as far as just overall skill and likability and just like style, those, there are things that are harder to compare. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like, I think what you're saying, and I agree, it's just kind of like leave that where it is. You don't need to, like, yeah, we don't need to take away another man's greatness or another
Yeah.
woman's greatness in order to make someone great right now, kind of thing. So, but I think it's just human nature, because I think that's something that we do, just even ourselves, like we compare, like we're always comparing, like where we are in life, or compared to where we should be in life, or we're comparing ourselves to other people, you know what I mean? Or, you know, people are comparing their success to someone else's, or comparing their vehicle to someone else, you know. And I think
Yeah.
it's a very easy thing. Like you see it all the time on Instagram too. It's like, okay, who rocked it better? Like, you know, two people wearing the same dress, and it's like, okay, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
if that one rocked it nice and she rocked it nice, and just like appreciate both, take some tips from it or not. But it's just this constant need to compare, like, which I don't know, it feeds something in our
He's an ego.
ego. Like, yes, something. We need a specialist to come join us and break that down, because it really hit me, and I thought this is something I realized all by myself until, you know, then you Google it. But just comparison being the root of all
Root of all
disappointment.
evil.
No, but no, of all disappointment. Because
Oh,
everything, when you're unhappy about something or disappointed with something, and if you go back and peel the layers off, it's always because you're comparing something to something else that doesn't measure up, and then that's why. But if you don't do that, then you won't be
yeah.
disappointed. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my moment. But then I Googled it and I was like, okay, people have already known that. Like, the exact phrase I had, it was out there. But yeah. But anyway, so it sounds like to me that yeah, you weren't very impressed with you weren't really impressed with the whole thing. You were just like, yeah,
Yeah, it was just kind of like, it's there.
yeah, okay, well, anybody, yeah, I'd like to invite anybody listening right now to join the conversation and tell us what you thought. I'm actually about to post the link. When you post, when you go on to vexradio.com and you click on, it's right at the top too. There's the listen here button at the very top of the screen. If you click there, then it takes you right to the page, and you will see the image of the post. Slide down.
Scroll.
Scroll down, that's it. I knew there was the S. Yeah, just scroll down to the comments where you can make a comment,
Yeah.
and
And
then
just
yeah, just there's a box there, and there's a link. And so when you click that link and you have Google Hangouts on your phone, you'll actually be you'll join the conversation, and so you can speak your piece on any of the topics, anything we're touching on tonight.
even Yvonne Orgy.
Yeah, which we can I guess maybe jump right to, actually, before we get into that, or you could also check the YouTube page. So if you are on YouTube, if you're watching us that way, for whatever reason, because some people subscribe and they get the link there. So you'll see right in the comment section, I'm about to post the link. And again, same thing happens. Click on the link and you'll join us. So they're making a movie about Bobby Christina's life.
Yeah.
And I just saw that. And what do you feel about that? Bobby Christina, of course, the daughter of Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown, who unfortunately also passed away after her mother. And I mean, and she was a very young lady who, and I don't know if it's ever been clear. They really put it out there exactly what happened, but you know, her ex-fiance, or her fiance at the time, whatever, who, like, it was kind of weird because they grew up together. They were very close. People consider them god brother and sister. I don't know, but they ended up in a romantic relationship. And and they do blame him, and Bobby actually believes he is the reason his daughter is dead. So and there's more on him right now. Actually, he's been going through his things. Like, he seems to be some type of very physical with women. So that factors into, that factors into Bobby not, Bobby feeling like Bobby Brown, sorry, feeling like he had something to do with Bobby Christina's death. So anyway, so they're gonna make a biopic about her life, and I just feel like my thoughts on this is she is a child of two stars. She wasn't necessarily a star in her own right. She wasn't really a public figure. I mean, she was just being born to these two celebrities. And because of that, and the fact that she didn't really do much with her life publicly, I don't see why they feel the need to put her story out there. And I'm not too sure they should. And I don't know who it's going to benefit and how it's going to benefit anybody. So yeah, I'm not really feeling that idea. That's just me. Andrew.
I think I would want to see the documentary, because I want to see how they're going to put together, because like you said, she wasn't really out there like that. She was born from two celebrities, but I want to I think I would be interested to see how they put together and like piece her story, right? Because there could be stuff that we've never knew about her or wasn't exposed before that they can put together if they're doing a documentary. Obviously, they found enough stuff to make a documentary out of it. Who knows if it's gonna be good or not? But they've decided that they've found or have enough stuff to make something out of it, right? You think that's fair?
I've seen some, you know what? You can kind of make a story out of anything, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's good or it's worthy of kind of airtime. It's just, I mean, somebody's got to be making some money off of it, and if that's the main reason, I think that's not good enough. Keep it
making money off of it.
Yeah, off of her story. And I mean, even if it was her father, like, she has no children, so it's not as if her children are going to benefit. Her father doesn't need the money like that, and if he, to exploit your child and make money off of her story, I think it's kind of sad. So that wouldn't be a good look.
Are you saying that as a mother?
I'm saying that just as just someone observing the situation, just as a human being. Like, don't be making money off your dead child's life that he may not want out there. I mean, unless she left it in her will somewhere that, hey, when I die, tell my story, and I want so-and-so to be me and all that stuff. I mean, if that's how it goes down, like, that's a different story. Like, who am I to speak on it? But I just feel that, and what, like, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can tell anybody's story, but it's going to be more of a personal story versus seeing, if a public, the public side of her life, because there wasn't much of that. And I don't know how interesting it could be. Do you know what I mean? Like, if there's a story on a celebrity, then I might be interested in saying, okay, let me see what sparked their love, their interest for their, what they do, or how did they develop their talent, and then, how did they start, and who did they meet, and how did their story, evolve, kind of thing. And it might be interesting to see the personal side to their business side, and how but I'm sure a big chunk of the story is going to be behind the scenes of, like, you know, the movies or the show or the performances that we didn't see, but it still
Yeah.
connects to their public life, their public persona. And I think that makes sense. But when it comes to straight up just digging up someone's personal life, and I mean, the girl was just barely in her 20s. So, like, how much, you know, how much is there for us to know? So, no, I think they should leave Miss Bobby Christina's life story alone. And whoever had the pleasure of knowing her in real life can just keep her memories there. And that's it. That's what I think. This is my personal opinion. But yeah, so call in people with your opinion. um, I've actually, yeah, posted the link, like I said, on vexradio.com, and I'm about to do the same on the YouTube page. So if you're watching there, I'm getting to it. Sorry. I can only do one thing at a time. Are you still there? Yes, you are. So yeah, so the next story I wanted to get into.
I got cut off for a second. Sorry about that.
Oh, you did? Okay, sorry. Yeah, you were kind of quiet, but whatever. I was just rambling. So I don't know if you've ever seen the show. This is another show but I've only seen 1 or 2 episodes of Insecure, Issa Rae's show on, I forget which network. But anyway, one of the stars, and an actress, sorry, Yvonne Orji, who plays Molly, on the show. She has, and it's not new. I mean, I just posted it. Actually, one of the gossip, or I don't know, whatever hot topic sites on Instagram actually just posted it recently, that she is a 33-year-old virgin in real life.
Mm-hmm.
That sparked a conversation with me and someone about, and I was just curious to know, as a man, from a man's point of view, is that a turn on or a turn off, basically?
In all honesty, it's there's 2 sides to it. So I can say it's a turn on because, like, I'd be the first one to if I got through with her, like dated her and whatever else. It's a turn on to be the first one, right?
Gosh, okay.
If you want to look at it that way. Hope there's no kids listening to this program.
Oh.
But it's almost like as a man, you know, you're conquering new territory, or, you know, like it's a very powerful feeling. Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that, in that aspect of it, yes, I think I would love that if she was like, you know, she's a virgin and then she decides to give it up to me, then that would be a very, very huge honor for me.
Wow. Okay.
So that's the one way to look at it. The other way to look at it, on the negative side, is and being, you know, at my age right now, do I want to go through that and, you know, maybe have, you know, you're kind of, what's the word? Like, kind of teaching the girl. So it's kind of, that's the negative side to it, because do you really want to do that at this point of your life? You know, that's something that more, you know, in your 20s and stuff like that you would do, but like now as a grown man, do you want to be like go and have to, like, you know, teach somebody and kind of say, okay, well, this is what da da da, this is that, without being graphic and saying any details. You know what I mean, right? Like saying, okay, well, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, da da da. You get what I mean?
Totally. I'm hearing you.
Yeah. So there's the upside to it, and then there's that downside. Which one overweighs which one? I don't know, because I didn't think about it long enough. So
now you got 60 seconds. No, I'm kidding. No. But yeah, that's part of the equation is like, okay, it might be great to the first time, like conquer or whatever you want to call it. Like some people might refer to it as, or like you said, you getting the gift
yeah.
of, but it's like how interesting, how exciting. But to that I say every partner you get with, it's like starting, not really starting all over. But
I'll
every
have to
partner
disagree.
kind of
I'll have
got
to
a little,
disagree with that.
really?
Yeah, not every partner you start with, I mean, you get with is like starting over because, like if you get with somebody who's very experienced in the bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
you're not starting over. That person is actually opening you up to new experiences and stuff like that. It's be like, whoa, like you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're not really starting over. You're just jumping right into it.
Yeah, but you're learning a person. I mean, I know it's different. Like you're learning, and this is that's something people have to keep in mind. Actually, is you can't always take what you did with the last person and think you're going to come in and please the next person because um, which I think some people do with success, but and some without. But and then, no, and then, so I've heard that, that you're trying to get people to adjust a little, but they're kind of stuck in their ways almost. You know what I mean? And I think so. It can actually work against you where people think it's just like, for instance, okay, let me bring it back to you're hiring someone for a job. And
Yes.
you're hiring a person that's been doing this job for 20 years and they're confident and this is what carried them through their whole life. And it's some managers and business owners will say, you know, I don't really want to deal with a person like that. They're harder to train. They've developed bad habits. Um, you know, we need them to kind of fit into our way of doing things versus
Yeah.
bringing them in. So in a way, it can be a bit of a turnoff. And when you think about being able to almost quote unquote train somebody, you know,
Right.
and I don't know if sex has to be like a hands on, like if you can only learn by doing or can you learn by
Talking to,
watching.
watching.
There's enough out there, and I think a lot of people learn. Like there are people who learn tricks because they watch porn or they, I don't know, and then they see things and they get ideas and then that's how they bring it into the bedroom, and then so they kind of, so and then they practice it out. So it's like, and that's kind of part of the fun, I guess, is like, okay, let's try this, or you don't really have to say it, you're just gonna try it, and then I mean that kind of sparks problems too because you say it and they're like, where you learn this from, where you get that from, and it's like, no, you just want to try something, but people then
Yeah.
start making it a problem if you got a real jealous man or woman, I guess. So yeah, be careful with that. But I don't know. I guess yeah, and I don't know if it's different. I mean, ladies, is it different having like is it different for a man? Um, could you be with a male virgin at 33, like a 33-year-old or whatever age you are? Just think about it. If you're like someone, if you're anywhere over 20, 25 type of thing, and just think someone of your age, or just women tend to date, younger women tend to date slightly older men. So if you're like a 25-year-old female dating a 28-year-old man, like can you imagine being with a 28-year-old virgin as a male? I think it's a little different because, but then again, it depends on the female and her style and her approach, because some are a little more take control, take charge, more dominant kind of thing, and it might work for her.
Yeah.
Right?
Would you date a virgin? Hello?
I'm thinking.
You
Well,
left
I'm not
dead
dating
air.
anybody, right? I'm not dating anybody right now. No, I'm kidding. Would I ever have? You know what? You gotta get to know people, right? And you have to, and you might meet someone and just fall for that person or fall, but
Are you giving me the Coles, the politically correct version? Where you?
no, I'm getting to the point though to say that all of that happens. But I think if I met somebody and I knew and this came up in conversation, it might be a slight turn off
Are
for
you
me.
serious?
Yeah, I think it might be a slight turn off. But then it's like,
You want somebody well seasoned, you're saying?
no. But then that's the other question. It's kind of like, how much experience does someone need to be experienced? You know what I mean? So then it's like, okay, someone's not a virgin, but they've had one partner and have had sex like 3 times. Like, so what? You're technically not a virgin, but how experienced are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. Yeah, it makes you yeah, it's kind of hard to come to a conclusion about that because there's more to a person than their sexual history um I think I'd be more turned off by someone if I met someone and he was to tell me, yeah, I've been with like 50 women and I've been
Like a
having
porn star?
I've been having sex since I was 13. That's when I first got like I'd be like, okay, like you know what I mean? If you've been having sex for like 30 years, whatever, 20 something years, and you've had all these partners, there's chances that you probably slipped a little, you've missed, you haven't bagged it up like been the most and you I don't know, I'm assuming you might have some kids out there and stuff. So there's a lot that comes with it. So that might be the bigger turnoff than the virgin. But I've never been with knowingly. Not no, I could say that for sure. I've never been with a virgin. So I just but
Even your first time?
I pray all the young ladies and young men, you guys are who are your that when it's your first that you guys are it's both your first and you get to have a nice little easygoing experience. But yeah,
So even your first time wasn't with a virgin?
what who are we talking about? My first. That's too deep for this conversation. Personal first, but no, no, no. My first was not a no.
Oh.
Geez, it's amazing I could remember all that, but no. And have you ever been with? Because chances are you as the man, you've been with younger women. Have you ever been with a virgin at any point in your life, even when you were younger?
Yeah, my very first time, we were both virgins. So
Aw, how cute.
yeah, and it's a different experience, of course. Not gonna get into any details with it, but like um, I appreciate it for what it was, and then because of that, we both grew stronger together at the time.
Mm.
So it was a beautiful thing.
Oh, that's so
Knowing
nice.
that it's the first for both of us.
Okay, so whatever happened to that,
Relationship.
yeah, that relationship. Thank you.
It just got severed after a period of time because I was not in the right time frame of mind. I was very young, so
Mm.
of course they say women mature faster than men, and she was looking to delve into like a full-fledged we were dating for like about 4 or 5 years, and then it was kind of like, well, are we gonna get married and stuff like that? And I'm like, I'm only, at the time maybe 21 or whatever. I'm like, not yet. and I was just starting to get into the whole NEDDY stuff and promotions, and I was starting to get attention out there. So I wasn't even on that sort of thing. So of course it's my fault. I do You know, if that person is listening out there now, I am sorry, but I wasn't mentally prepared at that time.
Sorry for what? Sorry for breaking your heart. Like, what did you do?
Yeah, I had to call it quits because I was at that was like the starting of like, you know, my career doing, you know, the promotions and stuff like that, and I was starting to get a lot of traction from getting to know people and stuff like that, and like moving, doing business and stuff, right? So it was kind of like I was on the rise at that point, and it was like, could I, you know, stop everything and do this, or do I stay with what I'm doing, like with the promotions and stuff? Because I started to increase in popularity as well, and this is before Facebook and all these sort of things. So it was kind of like I was getting a good rise, if that makes sense.
Good right. Yes, of course it makes sense. So I mean, yeah, you probably saved, well, not saved or helped her in life because yeah, I think being that young, I mean, who am I to say? Because I mean, my story hasn't been, I don't know if it's the story, the journey I'd want my daughter to take, kind of thing. Like everybody has their own. No, it's not bad. Everybody has their own to take, and but sometimes I look at people who can honestly say they've started with the one person, they've been with the one person, and not just sexually, but in a relationship, and I just think, wow, like I don't know how. Like I always wonder about those people. Like, okay, first of all, are you telling the truth? And second, um, you're not curious? Like, do you sometimes regret? Do you look at other people and wonder? Do you ever feel like you might have missed out on something? You know what I mean? And I just think, how healthy is that?
Well,
Um,
that's the thing. Like, I was just talking to my good brethren, Skimpy Boy, um, because we mentor kids like teenagers and stuff like that, and there's a lot of them who are, um, you know, probably like 16, and they've been with that person from 16. Now they're 19, and that's the only person that they've been with their whole life. I mean, not the whole life, their whole dating time, right? So I'm like thinking to myself, don't you want to go out there and experience other people and stuff like that? But if they're comfortable and they're like okay with how they are, why not just do with it?
Lead them to do that exactly, and that's what I feel like. Are we just um,
Wh-
when I've had those thoughts, like to tell a young person, like I wouldn't want to encourage someone to, I wouldn't say go out there and sleep with as many people before the age of 25, because once you lock it down, whatever, whatever. I'm not gonna, that's not my message or my advice. But it's almost like I say to young people about traveling. And I think being in a relationship, unless like, hey, if you meet your life mate, soul mate, like your life partner, someone that you click with, and you want to, as friends first, want to explore the world and travel and try new foods and try new, just different experiences, have different experiences, and that happens to be the person that you are actually you're connected to on so many different levels, including sexually, and that's the person you can see yourself going through life with. I think you are like beyond blessed, and hold on to that, and that's great. But if you are young, I'm talking like 17, 20, 21 even, and you want to do things and this person doesn't, and you find that you're already compromising or like saying, okay, I'll give up on that dream, or I'll forget the trip or whatever. You don't want to, if you get with someone, let's say, who wants to stay in Toronto for the summer to party, but your heart is pulling you, like you want to travel somewhere and have some experiences, then don't give up on that. And this, I mean, this goes for any age, but I'm saying as like we're focused on giving a little advice to younger people. But it's any age. It's like don't put that aside to say, okay, maybe we'll do that later, because when the kids come and you're locked down in a job and you can't get that vacation time together at the same time, and
Yeah,
you
life
know,
happens.
we're looking back at life with regrets, and that's like one of the worst things.
And yeah, and I think that's what causes sometimes different couples to cheat out of their marriage because they look back and they're like, well, I didn't even get to experience life, and they're like, what am I doing here? I'm with this deadbeat guy, and I didn't get to experience life and go and travel, and I was living his dream while he was working. I was supporting his business, or same thing with the guy. The guy would be like, yeah, like I've been here working to fulfill this house and keep food on the table. I haven't gotten to travel or do anything, and then that's what causes people to cheat a lot of times, many times, right? So yes, I do understand that, but um, that way back in the days, if you're a religious person, how God intended it was you're supposed to only lose your virginity to the person you're going to marry, and you stay with that one person. So it's almost like if you don't taste the forbidden fruit, like outside of your marriage or whatever, you don't know what you're missing. So to you, that person is always going to be the best. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but like you still see the fruit.
You still see the fruit, yeah, but if you
You want the
if you if you if you it's temptations, right? You gotta try not to submit to temptations. If you're like if you've never ever tried sugar before your whole life, you don't know what you're missing, right?
What was that example you used?
Sugar.
Oh, sugar.
Yeah, like there's some people who've been born into vegetarian and they only know vegetarian. They've never tried meat before. So them not trying meat, that's their
See, that's
thing.
not really the same to me because it's kind of like this is now saying that you've had broccoli, right? And you like broccoli, you love broccoli, it's green. So then you see spinach and you're like, if I love this green stuff, I must like that green stuff. So we don't always have to be comparing like opposites or like negative and positive. It's you know what I mean? But it's almost to say like, nope, you picked one green veggie and that's all you're gonna have for your whole life is that broccoli. You're like, oh shoot, okay, so was there a time in my life that I could have tried all of them and then decided, you know what I mean? Not all, obviously not all.
That's the player in you. That's a player coming out right there.
Well, no. See, I'm a very simple. I'll be honest. I'm a very simple person to I am a legit a one man woman like at any given moment. No, that's me, and it's never been a struggle. It's never been a battle. I've never been tempted to say, "Oh my gosh," and no, I don't cheat. I've never cheated. It's just not me. Like I'm satisfied. But could I say that if I had been with the one person from the beginning until now? Possibly, possibly, but I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, Miss her name is actually oh my gosh, is it Aji? Like it's pronounced like she's Nigerian, so this Yvonne um but in America, they pronounce it orgy, and I think that's the craziest name for considering what she
For the
the
virgin.
virgin. And I mean, she has gone even as far to say, like I saw an interview where she says, no, she's never even masturbated. And so she doesn't even know, and she's like, she hasn't done anything. So it's not even like, some people are virgins because they've never been penetrated or penetrated
Yeah.
somebody, but they've done other things. But she's like, no,
Yes.
legit nothing. Like even kissing is sacred to her because kissing leads to this and that and blah, blah, blah. So I kind of get that's like the side eye. I was like, really, dude? Like, never, you know. But she does, she feels the urge and she's looking forward to it. And I just think But in that case, like what you were saying was if you don't know it. So I
Yeah.
think we're not
For,
not
for,
climaxing, not ever coming. Like obviously, if you've never masturbated, like you haven't. So then she doesn't know that feeling to know. Okay, that's bomb. So like
yeah.
that's what comes with sex if your partner is good enough, and then
But
so
then that
way.
means that her expectations are low, because any experience for her is going to be amazing, right?
I don't know because sometimes like you don't have something long enough and then it's like there's, some things that you hear about, right? Like certain foods or like people will tell me something so good, something so good, something so good, and I've always wanted to try it and I wanted to try it. And because I've heard, and sex is one of those things that everybody talks about in a way that it's like you kill for, you die for, you spend money for it, which yeah.
Yeah.
And then you experience it and you're like,
This is it.
yeah, you know what I mean? So I don't know, there's a lot of things that people just kind of overhype, whatever. But then you know what, if it comes from a place of love, and this is where, I'm gonna sound all like corny and stuff.
Mushy.
Yeah, it's the truth, and I think we all know it, that like when there's like a real attraction and there's a deeper attraction, it goes beyond the physical, and you just want to experience another level of closeness with a person, um, that makes it takes the pressure off of just the big climax. You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
it's about that, then yeah, you might be disappointed because how you get to that or how big it is or how good it is or whatever
Right.
can be disappointing. But if it's about being close to that person and you get that closeness and you get that intimacy, like you can't, you're gonna be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I think.
anyway, on that note,
You're very mushy on that one.
I know. I just, yeah, whatever.
You almost have me crying.
When when you kind of missing things, but whatever. Anyway, no. You just, yeah, whatever. So yeah. So anyway, people didn't call in tonight, so boo to you. And like, if you're too shy, honestly, no one needs to know your name or see your face. So, but you can still comment on social media or on any one of our, like on the vexradio.com or the YouTube page if you want, after listening to this. As you know by now, this if you're tuning in now, we are about to tune off, and but you can catch this broadcast as a podcast tomorrow. So check it out. TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, of course. And if you do want to send a shout out, or you could send me a shout out, or NEDDY or KINETIC, who did not make it tonight. We missed you, KINETIC. You could do that vexradio.com by dialing 1-877-469-3016. Choose option 1 to send a shout out, or option 2 to request a song that will be played at some point during the day after you request it. Again, the number is 1-877-469-3016, and be sure to tune into vexradio.com, where again you hear the best in hip hop and R&B. And NEDDY, remind the people how they can stalk you.
Stalk me. Well, you can.
Yeah.
The main thing is Instagram right now, because I don't even really use Facebook anymore. I do. I respond to messages and stuff like that, but Instagram is where it's at right now. So you can hit me up at Two Nice Photography, and that's a numerical 2, and then NYCE Photography. That's also the website, twonicephotography.com. And on Facebook, it's NEDDY Nice, NEDDY, and then second word is NYCE.
Okay.
and Twitter too, but I only really use my Twitter. So.
Okay. Well, find him there. I know everybody has Twitter, but we hardly use it, right? Unless you're like just a real Twitter head. But for me,
Yeah.
Cake with Care C, all one word, Instagram and Twitter. And again, there's a Facebook page, but I don't use it because Facebook they just violate people's privacy a little too much. And you better not come for me on Instagram either, because whatever. So anyway, but that's the best way. And of course, KINETIC 100 if you want to see what's up with him. And yeah. Thank you once again for joining tonight, Mr. Neddy Night. And yeah, we're back again next Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're here every Tuesday night at the same time, right here on VexRadio.com with more hot topics. And we may have a guest next week. It may work out that way, or we may have to wait for the week after. But tune in and subscribe to the page, the YouTube page, and you'll get the link so you'll never forget when to tune in again. All right.
All right.
For certain people that do, that I know did tonight though. So thank you for listening, and yeah, have a great night.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Bye.